Hello everyone, my name is General Holsey, and today I'm back with another settlement tour that I've been working on for about a month now. The settlement we're going to be touring is Bedford Station. Now, this isn't a vanilla settlement, that is because it's actually a mod made by EvilViking13, who asked people to send in a tour of their settlement for a competition he is running. For his competition, he wanted people to make a train-themed settlement here at Bedford, so I figured I would throw my hat in the ring for this, since it's been something I've wanted to do for a while now. Now, before I do get into this, I want to explain a few things and answer a few questions that might arise in the settlement tour. I'd like to explain that the town here at Bedford Station and the train that is parked here belong to two completely different factions. The town belongs to the Minutemen, whereas the train actually belongs to a group of survivors who have been traveling up and down the East Coast for many years now. Bedford Station was always one of their stops, however, so the Minutemen decided to set up a settlement there and begin trading with this very nomadic faction, which stops by every 7 months or so. Now, this faction is a very reclusive faction, only trading with a select few people and viewing everyone else who doesn't live on a moving train as ignorant or savage. This faction spends pretty much all their time on the train, except for when they are trading and scavenging. So let's get right into it. First thing we're going to see is the locomotive that Evil Viking made. I decided not to really touch this one since I feel like he did a really good job on this. So now we're going to head to the end of the train over here. And the first car we're going to tour is the high-class lounging car. This is where the members of the higher class of society in this train come to dance and drink and generally relax and interact with each other. Now we're going to move up to the high-class dining car. Here's where everyone in the upper class, also known as the upper line members, come to eat. They're served 3 meals a day that are made in this pretty big kitchen here. As you can see, they have some fancy dining here. Next up is the upper class sleeping quarters. Here everyone in the upper class society comes to sleep. They're given a compartment type room with lots of storage. Here they're able to store pretty much everything they need. And as you can see, it's actually quite private. They even have their own little makeshift bathroom over here. This next car here that we're going to look at is actually the armored car. As you can see, it's made out of metal. The wheels are defended as well with some old pieces of military defensive barricades. However, this car acts like a checkpoint before actually heading to the main locomotive. Here the guards sleep and pretty much live here. They have their own little armory here with a few weapons. And they have their own little loft space as well to take down anyone who's trying to get on the train without a ticket. So this next car we're going to look at is the electrical car and the storage car. This faction tends to trade a lot, and they also scavenge a lot, so they have a lot of supplies stored away in this car. This generator here is meant to power some of the electrical parts like the lights of the train. Now we're going to move on to the greenhouse car. Now this is where the botanist or the farmer that lives here grows any surplus food. The car doesn't really rely, or the train doesn't really rely on this car for food all the time. Sometimes they'll have extra food stored away. As you can see, the farmer lives in here as well. This next train car we're going to come up on is the medical car. Now, as you can see, it's actually quite cramped. There's a small waiting room here. A not so private surgery room. However, it does have all the equipment it needs. A nice little recovery area. A checkup table. A tiny office for the doctor to use, as well as a living space for him. Now we're going to move into the entertainment car. Now, here's where anyone can come and they can check out a book, maybe, or they can, check out pre-war living. They can come here to do activities. As you can see, they can paint or they can write here. There's also a little living space for the librarian that lives here as well. Now we're going to move all the way up to the front once again. We're going to look at the other armored car that's on this train. And in fact, this armored car was built by the members of the locomotive of the train. It was built from this big flatbed car that was used to transport this military vehicle. However, the vehicle doesn't actually work. The only thing that really works on the vehicle is the cannon. So sometimes when they have the ammo and stuff, they will use it for the defense of the train. Here they also have the armory with some weapons and such, as well as most of the ammo on the train. The next car we're actually going to look at is the lower class living quarters. Now, here is pretty much where the people who work for the train live. As you can see, it's quite cramped and quite dirty. It's really meant for lower class members, say maybe guards or scavengers of the train, people who maybe, work doing the dirty jobs. Now you may be wondering, because these cars don't actually have the doors at the front and the end, how would someone get from this sleeping car to wherever they need to go? Well, they set up a little walkway here on the side of the car, and it comes on top here, and it connects to the other car over there. However, they're currently parked too far away, so we will have to jump down to reach the next one. This here is the lower class dining car. As you can see, they have a pretty cramped kitchen with not that much supplies. They also have a really cramped bar meant for, gathering around at the end of the day, as well as a tight dining space here, and the single latrine as well. Now we're going to move up the walkway here, and we're actually going to head to the caboose of the car, of the train. Now, this here is where some of the other workers sleep. However, this is the sort of operations center for the couriers that work on the train. What they'll sometimes do is they'll climb on top of the train and they'll deliver packages in between the cars. I also use this car as storage space. So yeah, that is pretty much it for the train. It's a pretty small train, but it's kind of cramped. It's really meant for more everyone to live on it. It's really meant for profiting rather than actually being comfortable. They're giving up comfort for security, so they sort of have to, sacrifice some stuff here. But this is the train that I built here, and now we're gonna move on to the actual town in the settlement. So here we are at the front gate of the town. As you can see, they have a guard tower there and a big gate. So let's head right inside. So the first thing we're going to look at is the lower class living quarters for anyone who lives in the town. As you can see, there's a sort of bar / dining area, a lounge here as well. There's a small little seating area over here as well. As you can see, here's one of the rooms where people sleep in. As you can see, it's kind of cramped. Not really meant for living, just rather coming in to sleep, and that's pretty much it. It's very dorm-like living, almost. Alright, now we're going to go on down and we're going to check out the locker. Now this is where everyone comes to trade. Whenever the train stops, the merchants from the train will get off and they'll trade here. As you can see, there's 2 counters here for the trading. Let's hop on over the counter. And back here there's a sort of storage space where the merchants of the town will store some extra items that maybe they can trade off for other things they might need. We're gonna head up here, and there's a sort of balcony up here that's used as a guard post. We're gonna head down over here. This here is a tiny checkpoint room before actually heading into the main security room and the generator room that pretty much powers the entire settlement. The security guards are here just in case any of the outside merchants get a little too rough with our merchants. I have a small array of weaponry. Here's a small guard post. Now we're going to check out the station itself. As you can see, it's kind of used more for storage since the train doesn't really come by here a lot. They sort of just use this place to prepare for unloading the train, where the workers who unload the train will come and maybe they'll prepare. They also just use it mainly to store some of the extra items in the settlement. Now we're going to move to the bathhouse. Really, this is only the bathrooms here. And then these are the actual showers for the settlement, made in old outhouses or outhouse type buildings. Here's the water pump for the water for the showers. Now we're going to move on to the living quarters for the people who live here. This is sort of like upper class for people who have a bit more caps in their pocket. This is one of the living quarters. As you can see, it's in a small trailer. Here is another sort of bungalow area. Quite spacious, and it comes with all the living essentials as well. Here's another one. And here's another bungalow that maybe is for a family of 4. As you can see, it's the kids' room here. And over here is the parents' bedroom. Kind of small, but, you know, good affordable living space for the wasteland. Here's another guard tower at the front of the settlement. The other one at the back is pretty much exactly the same. And we're going to run around here. This is the farm area, as well as a storage shed here for anyone who works on the farm. And yeah, that is pretty much it for this settlement. We've pretty much explored everything in the settlement. So yeah, that has been my entry for EvilViking13's Bedford Station Settlement Contest. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. Take care.